one more early release of an episode in order to get our app done in time for our launch party on April 4th. Today we will learn how one woman who was married for over 50 years was stricken with grief after her husband passed away. After a year, she decided to reinvent herself. She's not looking for love. She's had that. What she's doing now is loving her life. You can too. She'll show you how she did it in today's episode of Rock Your Retirement.
Talking with people about how to have a great retirement. This is the Rock Your Retirement Show. We don't talk about money, but we talk about almost everything else you need to rock your retirement. Now, here's your host, Kathy Klein.
Welcome to Rock Your Retirement. This is the show where we help you have a great retirement. We don't talk about money. We don't talk about insurance. We talk about all the other things that you're going to need to know when you retire. Or, if you're already retired, we can help you have a better retirement. We help you rock your retirement in areas such as social and family, entertainment and travel, volunteer work and philanthropy, matters of the spirit and soul, sex. Yeah, sometimes we talk about that too. Last of all, we talk about ways to help your parents or others who may need your help now or in the future. Baby boomers are in what's called the sandwich generation because many times they're helping not only their children, but also their parents. We want you to be passionate about your retirement, and we want to help you rock your retirement. Our guest for today is Madelyn Troike, and I actually met her at the San Marcos Senior Center. She told me a story that I thought my listeners would love to hear. She lost her husband 2 years ago, and now she's finding a new life. Madelyn, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, I lost my husband almost 2 years ago, but we had a rocking retirement. We traveled everywhere, Fiji, New Zealand, Hawaii, Australia. We've been in every state in the Union except North Dakota because we didn't see any scenic paths to go there. But I've had a wonderful life with a man that we were married 58 years. And it's unique because not many people have had the opportunities had a great guy like that. But now I'm finding a new me because when he died, it was totally different because when you do everything as a couple and then now you're alone and then somebody referred to me as single, and it's a totally different life to adjust to. But I've had some good things happen in my life. The senior center has been fantastic. The people, I've done volunteer work there for years. My husband and I both did. And they've welcomed me back, and I stay busy. I waited table today, and I do everything that, I can do. But I have had a lot of other opportunities through that. I was telling your interviewer about I learned to dance again because my husband was a great dancer. We loved to dance. And when I came to the senior center after his death, a man here said, do you want to dance? And he and his wife are dance teachers. I didn't know that at the time, but he was dancing with all the seniors. And I said, no. And he said, why? Don't you like to? And I said, yeah, but I lost my dance partner. And he said, don't you think he'd want you to dance? And I said, I'll think about it, but I'm not going to dance. But what I did, because I used to teach line dancing, is I went home, sold all of his big power tools. Then I set my garage up and I line danced by myself in the garage.
That's awesome.
You got to keep moving because if you don't, it's not healthy.
But have you danced with others in addition to line dancing in your garage?
No.
No, not yet. You're not ready for that.
I'm not sure anybody could ever match Paul. Paul was a great guy, and I can't imagine another man in my life. I have a lot of friends here. I've had invitations, but I don't go.
Well, 58 years is a long time.
19 to his death, yeah.
And it's only been a couple of years.
Not even 2. It'll be 2 in May.
Yeah, so you're still in the grieving process.
I think, as we were talking a little bit earlier, I think the deep grief lasted for a year to where I didn't do a lot of stuff. But then there are other people at the center, and a lot of people have reached out to me because I'm not the only one that's lost a mate. There are a lot of people here that have lost mates, and It's kind of like another club because you belong to a group of people that understand where you're coming from. Singles don't understand it, and kids don't understand it, but people who have been happily married for a lot of years, there's a lot to share. And we've done that here at the Senior Center. I have a lot of friends here that have gone through the same thing. So no, I'm doing okay in that area.
Well, that's good. I'm so glad that you have a social life. That's where we find that a lot of seniors that don't have a social life, they get into a depression and then they wind up getting sick.
That's not me.
Thank goodness.
I've in my late 50s, I used to run 10Ks, and that's 6.2 miles.
Wow.
But I've continued to run. Didn't for the last year of Paul's death because I took care of him at hospice at home. But then I got back to running, and I've done the Carlsbad 5K, and I'm back up to my 3-mile runs. And I have good health. I'm blessed with good health. I watch what I eat because I watch a lot of people who do not watch what they eat, and they do not exercise, and they are not healthy. And at 78, I have the health of a lot of people a lot younger that can't do what I do. And so it's a matter of decisions that you make on a day-to-day basis. We have a lot of Starbucks donated sweets here, but I don't eat them. I cut them up for other people, but I don't eat them. And so, and you know, I love to garden. I'm an organic gardener.
Oh, you
I have my
are?
own fish pond. I have a pet that most people don't have. Her name is Nessie. She's a large red-eared slider turtle.
Oh.
And my granddaughter brought me another turtle to put in my pond, and it turned out to be a male.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, and so I've had, in the last 2 years, I've had 50 baby turtles.
What do you do with them all? Because, you know, I have a story that I will tell you off air about a red-eared slider that I found and donated to the Turtle Society.
Okay. Well, you know what I did with mine? I got them and put them all in a big pan, and I've raised them to where I put 25 of them back into my pond, and they will climb up on the edge and sun with Nessie. And then my last batch, I still have some in my living room that I'm raising. The sad story there is the little male turtle that was given to me was only there a short time because a raccoon came, killed the turtle. And Nessie is large enough that she has a place to hide under a wood area, and so she's okay. But, yeah, I raise turtles, and when I run, I have a path, and there's a man who has a horse, and I've never been around horses that much. But this horse is 17 years old. His name is Smokey, and I take him an apple every day on my run. Yeah, he's sweet. And I did a selfie.
With the horse.
Yeah, he's a great horse. And so then with my most recent venture is to be on Facebook and online just the last 2 weeks.
Oh, well, congratulations.
That's an accomplishment, and that's new.
At 78,
this is the new me. And, you know, if you're going to interact with people, and I'm not a person that sits at home. I'm not one that is a couch potato. I don't like to just sit and do nothing.
Did you post the selfie with the horse on Facebook?
I haven't yet, but my sister said, when are you going to post it? And it's as soon as I learn how.
Oh, okay.
She said, I want to see the turtles, and I want to see and I got the smartphone, and it was the first selfie I took, and it turned out really good. So I've got a video.
That's really cool. So once the turtle, I mean, you're not going to grow any more turtles, are you? Because they can devastate the vegetation around your home.
Not the red-eared sliders. See, they stay in the pond. She's not a tortoise. She stays in the pond. What she does do, she goes out and digs holes in the spring.
Right.
And she did even before we had a male turtle. And she would dig, as you see on TV, where they dig a hole, and she sits on it like she's going to lay eggs, but nothing happens. And she goes back into the pond. So I've watched her do this for years. And I didn't know this was a male until I went out into the yard and found one of the small turtles. And then they began showing up all over.
But do you have any other males now?
You know, Nessie eats no plants.
Because
None.
you're feeding her.
Well, I feed her, and then I garden organically, and I have a fishworm bed, and I actually dig my own fishworms and grubs and feed her at the pond, and I tap the edge, and she comes. So she doesn't stroll around destroying anything.
Wonderful.
Yeah, she's great. And
Now,
she's about a foot or so across. She's pretty good size, yeah.
Yeah, so what are you going to do with all those babies? Because there's probably some males in there.
I think right now some of them are kind of hibernating in the bottom. When it gets cool, they go down and they don't come up. Right. And I don't know in the spring. We will see how many still stay in the area. Maybe they've left because I don't see them around.
Or maybe some herons came in and ate them
the
all.
Raccoons have been in twice. And when they get into the pond, they probably decimated the babies. I would guess that.
Probably.
So I probably don't have a problem, actually.
Yeah.
And as my husband would say, Maddie, when you have a pond, this is what you can expect. I trap raccoons too.
Oh, you do. And do you trap them and kill them, or do you
No,
relocate them?
No, you relocate because you can't kill them.
Oh, it's illegal.
It's illegal. But I trap them. I actually pay a young man $40 per raccoon to take it out in an area where they can. Yeah, where there's no, it's in a BLM land area where it's government stuff, so it's not on anybody's property.
Okay, good.
And so they have access to food and that. But I pay him, and I've hauled 3 away.
Well, they're really cute, but they're really smart,
deadly.
And so we don't want them around.
No, raccoons are deadly.
And my mother likes to feed them, and and she doesn't live in California, but
No.
I'm sure her neighbors, because she lives in a rural community, I'm sure that they shoot her baby friendly raccoons.
No, raccoons, they dig up everything in the yard. They're the turtles,
too
no
smart.
problem. Yeah.
They're too smart.
Yeah,
That's the problem. Raccoons and rats. Very smart.
Okay. Oh, dear.
So here you are at the senior center and you're volunteering. What else are you doing with your new life?
I like to read. I write some. And with my new computer, I have my new Word, and I got my new Hewlett-Packard printer so I can print my stuff out. I write some poetry.
Oh, you do?
And do my own pictures beside of it. Yeah. Like I say, I stay fairly busy.
Have you done any self-publishing of, say, a book or anything like that?
I haven't, but I've written some things. I thought about that, actually. As I said before, going back to my earlier life, it's like I've lived in 2 worlds because the other world was great, and this one's new. So it's kind of a challenge every day because you say, what do you do? I don't know what's going to happen that day. I've come past the grief, and I think so many seniors miss living in the past because the past is past, and you have to go forward. And if you look, there are opportunities everywhere. And I have found a lot of opportunities, and I've met a lot of new people, a lot of new friends. When I run my 3 miles in my neighborhood.
Do you do that every day?
Every day. And yesterday I did, and it was really hot. But neighbors, when I go by, I get a thumbs up. I get all this encouragement, from people just running. And if I stayed in the house, I would never have, that interaction. I actually have a mailman who, he also lost a father, and he was grieving deeply. And he said, Maddie, you're my inspiration. And when he sees me running, he stops the mail truck, jumps out, gives me a high five and say, go girl, And so, when you're active, it brings different people. It brings a smile into your life. And actually, I'm beginning to enjoy my life. I didn't think I would, but I see that there's good things ahead. And I have a wonderful family. I've got a daughter-in-law who made it possible for me to take care of Paul, and a son who would do anything for me. 3 granddaughters here, 2 great-granddaughters that are all great. And I have a grandson who lives up in Washington State. So I have a wonderful family. And now that I'm on Facebook, my sisters, my sister-in-laws, all these people are sending me all these things, to look at. And it's fun. So it's new. And I think when I told you, I'm finding a new me because I never had time. When you are married, you are doing things together. And we traveled so much and did so many things together that now I have all this time. And I think, okay, now what do I do with this time? And so now I'm finding a new life.
And you're learning how to use computers. It sounds like you're rocking it in that area.
I am rocking with the technology. I have a smartphone. I'm online. And then I have a car that everybody thinks is a toy. It's a smart car. It's real small, but I'm short and I can see everything and I feel safe driving it. Everybody said, "Are you safe in there?" And I said, "Yeah." It's made by Mercedes-Benz. Here's an advertisement. But they say, "But you're not safe." And I said, "No, there's a rim that goes all around the door." And it's the same thing they put in racing vehicles, titanium bar, and they say they wreck it at 70 miles an hour and you can always open the door. So people don't know that. And so I love my smart car.
I didn't know that.
No, most people don't. Now, the only thing bad about the smart car is it has no spare tire.
Oh.
And I don't like that because that means I got to call a smart car and have them. And there's 2 sizes on my car that they have to come out and change my tires. And they come either from Beverly Hills or San Diego. And I said, but they said they had other people in the area. So far, so good, no flat tires. But I love my new car.
Hopefully you have AAA.
AAA will do me no good because nobody can tow this car. It has to be a smart car.
Oh, they can't tow
No,
it.
nobody can tow it. And they literally come out and they bring one of each of the sizes of tires and change it. And you're back on the road.
Oh, my goodness. So how
Yeah.
long do you have to wait?
Well, I asked them that, and they said not long because they have people in the areas to represent.
Well,
but
that's
it's
good.
different. And I'm not used to I used to could change a flat tire, but now I can't.
or
And
at
that-
least be towed.
No, you can't be towed. There's there's a little thing under the right front passenger seat. It's a little gun that has an adhesive in it, and you put it on where you put the air in, spray it, and it's supposed to seal it where you can go another 40 miles, hopefully go home. But if somebody slashes your tire, it's of no value because it isn't going to hold.
Well, hopefully that won't happen to you.
I hope not. It did once to our other car. That's probably one of the reasons I mention it. And
my
we didn't know who, but we came out from a restaurant and somebody just slashed our tire and we didn't go anywhere.
That wasn't in San Diego, was it?
It was in San Marcos.
It really?
Yeah.
I would think that would be something somebody would do in L.A.
No. Right here in my own little hometown.
Wow. That. Well, I'm going to cross my fingers that doesn't happen to you.
Well, so far so good. Nothing's happened, and I've had it almost 2 years because I got it just
Wow.
before Paul died. Yeah.
So you really enjoyed your life with Paul, and now things are a little bit different. And now you're rocking your retirement by learning new things. You're going to the senior center. Is there anything else that you're doing that? I think you mentioned that you're a singer.
Well, I actually I have a karaoke machine.
Okay.
I sing an hour a day, and the running helps my voice control, and the singing helps my running because it's diaphragm breathing, and it's a very healthy thing to do. Both of them are. And I love music. I've got everything on karaoke. I have a command share at home that I can command everything, right there with my karaoke. And actually, over here at the Senior Center years ago, I did a little entertaining over here. Did a little Patsy Cline and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I've done a lot of stuff. When I hear other people talk about how miserable their lives have been, or they've been mistreated or whatever, it made me think, okay, I don't have Paul, but I did have him for 58 years, and it's better to think about the things that you do have and had, not what you don't have. And that's what I concentrate. So I concentrate on now I have a wonderful family and wonderful new friends, and I'm doing really good, really good.
That's fantastic. And you also mentioned that you were a woman of faith, and I think that's probably helpful as well because the books that you believe in believe that you focus on the good as well.
I am. I'm a believer, and I can't do everything, but God has brought me through this in an unbelievable way. And so I don't really take the credit for where I am. God has given me the ability to be where I'm at.
That's lovely. And you've recently found a church home, so I'm glad to hear that as well. One of the things that we talk about on this show are spiritual and soul. It's not a show about Christianity. We do interview other faiths as well, but I think people that listen to the show realize that I'm a Christian as well. So tell me, when your husband and you were working full time, and you were not working for pay, but you were working assisting him, and then you retired. What is something that you were able to do that you were not able to do while he was still working?
Travel. We got a motorhome, and we went clear to the Keys in Florida, up to Maine, and like I say, traveled. On your map book, there's 100 things you should see and do in the United States. We've done them all except the one in New Mexico where the balloons go up.
Is that on your list?
No, we'd already seen that. And we were actually in the area. If we'd have stayed one more night, we could have completed the list. But we both said, hey, we've seen that, done that, and we left.
Well, if you saw it, you completed it. Right?
Yeah, I know.
So you could
well,
check
we
that
didn't see
off.
that one, but we saw another balloon one. And, we've seen a lot of balloons. And so it wasn't one of our priorities. And the things on it were like the Maid of the Mist at Niagara Falls. We did all of those fantastic things. And like I say, in traveling, I love the South Pacific. We were in Fiji twice. We have a lot of friends in Fiji, and I'm a shell collector, and I've got shells from all over the world. I've been to Great Barrier Reef, where we took the boats down in and saw the reef.
Did you dive?
Huh?
Do you dive?
Yeah,
So-
but snorkel dive, not deep
deep
sea.
dive.
Yeah, And actually, when we were in Fiji, there was a pretty good storm headed the way, and my husband was not a strong swimmer. And I said I was going to get into the water, and they were feeding dough balls to the fish, and I was just with a snorkel going to look at the fish. And the man said, Maddie, you better put some fins on because it's strong, the water's strong. And I said, well, I'm a strong swimmer. I grew up on the lake. I'll be fine. And I dove in, and I took a couple of looks at the fish, and I raised my eyes out of the water, and I was a long way from the boat because it was very strong. And I swam like crazy, and my husband was standing there with the back of the boat where you would get on the boat would go down like 5 feet in the water, and then it would be 5 feet above the water.
Oh, my gosh.
And he was standing on the corner, and I swam till I could reach his hand, and he dragged me on the boat. And he said, Maddie, you shouldn't have done that. And I said, I know. I know.
Well, if you ever do that again, make sure there's a rope tied around your waist.
Yeah. Well, no, there was literally a hurricane approaching. They shouldn't have gone out. And then when we're on board, the divers who did go below, it didn't bother them because they were down below. And the boat was rocking. Everybody was sick. It was not fun.
Oh,
but
but it's an experience you can talk about now.
Yeah, no. Like I say, you can tell. I've had a fun life. We've done a lot of fun things.
Well, that's why I wanted to interview you,
Yeah.
because you are certainly rocking your retirement, and you are an example to the baby boomers that listen to this show. And actually, now that you have a smartphone, you could actually listen to this show.
I would like to.
And we'll show you how to do that afterwards.
I would like to.
But yeah, so that's really fantastic that you were able to do all that traveling.
One of the seniors here, where we were volunteering here, and we got our motorhome, and I'll never forget what she said. She said, Maddie, you and Paul have good health. She said, go while you have it so you can hike and see all the things you want to see, because time goes by pretty fast and you won't have the health to do that later on. And she was walking with a walker when she told me that. And, we thought about that. So we plugged as many things into a few years after his retirement that you possibly could.
That was great advice.
Yeah, it was good advice.
Is she still around?
No.
Well,
she's no longer around.
Well, she changed your life.
People do change other people's life. You can either influence them positively or negatively. It's your choice.
And we're hoping that this show will influence people positively. That's why we started it.
I hope so, because it's. I see way too many seniors, even here, who settle for a lesser life than they have to. I think they just decide, okay, I'm this age, I don't do anything anymore. And, as I told you, I'm doing this interview. See, I'm open to do just about anything that comes up because I like life.
And for those of you who came in late, we just met today. So she really is rocking her retirement. She was like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, we can do this.
Let's get this done. So we found an empty room and we brought out the microphones and we're doing this interview.
And I'm enjoying it, Kathy.
And it is fun. Mm-hmm. It is fun to get to know more about you. And while I was at the booth trying to get people to sign up for interviews, we probably talked for about 45 minutes. So she's just a really, really interesting person. And I'm sorry that we can't tell all the stories because some of them were a little confidential. What was it like right after you retired? How different was it? Was it a big culture shock right after your husband retired and you started traveling and all of a sudden I hear a lot from women that their husbands were working and now all of a sudden they're 2,000 hours and they're underfoot. Did that happen to you, or what was it like when he retired?
Well, my husband had a couple of careers. One was as an engineer, where he worked out of the home, and I raised two sons and did all the cooking, and I didn't have a job. However, I did graduate from business college. And so I did all the a lot of wives don't do this, but I managed, our budgets, our monies, wrote checks, and did all of that. And he said, "Hey, you're a good business manager. Do it." And
so
like I say, I had a unique man. He had confidence in me and trusted me, and we worked as a team. And as I mentioned to you later, he was a pastor, and so I was a pastor's wife. And he hated the computer with a passion, and so I did his email. And I always said he got a private secretary that he didn't have to pay for. And so when he retired, we were so used to working together that we just we just went on doing things together. So it wasn't really an adjustment at all.
That's great.
Yeah.
So it was not a culture
No
shock.
culture shock, no.
That's wonderful. My husband and I work in the same room. He's retired, but he sits on the boards of a couple different companies, and I still work. And our desks are next to each other, and I'm trying to be healthy like you are, so I just got a treadmill desk because I sit on my butt for 8 to 10 hours a
Not
day.
healthy.
Not healthy. And so now I'm getting my 10 to 18,000 steps a day by being on that treadmill desk. But it's funny because we're in the same room all day, but we don't talk. We email each other. So I don't know what it will be like when one of us fully retires, because he's retired, but he still does things.
The art of conversation is being lost on your generation. I hate to say that because I have actually gone down to my son's home for a family dinner, and you're sitting around in the backyard they have a fish pond there too, and they've all got their phones and they're talking to, is it Siri that they all talk to?
Google, Siri.
Yeah. And oh, look at this, look at that. And I'm thinking, don't you ever look at each other and talk to each other, you know? And so now I've joined this crazy group, and I really prefer talking to people one-on-one than emailing and that kind of thing. It's good technology, but I really think the younger generation is going to lose it.
Well, I'm 50, and we've lost part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the generation past me has lost more of it.
I'm sure.
And I think the kids today that are growing up 2 years old with a cell phone in their hands, I can't even imagine what life is going to be like in 20 years. Mm. So that's one of the reasons why I'm enjoying interviewing you, because you're in the generation that didn't grow up with all these things, and you actually talk to each other.
Well, and I actually grew up in a hometown where when TV came online, we had the first TV in the town, and you couldn't see anything. There was snow going up, and the pictures rolling, and everybody said, "What is this?" And I said, "It's TV." I mean, yeah, it's TV, you know. And so, no, I've grown up with technology that they call it now the velocity of change. It used to change, but now my computer is probably out of date, and I just have had it 2 weeks, and that's what's happening.
That's true. It's exponentially growing, and it's very, very difficult for, let's just say, we older people to keep up with it all. My cell phone just got updated, and now I don't know how to put it in airplane mode.
Yeah. And my smart car, if it starts raining, the windshield wipers turn on, and it'll tell me, okay, now you need air in your tires. I don't have to check things because it does all that for you.
Well, that's kind of nice.
Yeah, it is.
I can't wait for the car. I can't wait to get a car that parks itself. That'll be my next big purchase.
Do you have to have a license for a car that drives itself?
I don't know. We're going to have to find out about those Google cars. You know? And when will they be available?
I don't know.
That would be nice to be able to sit back and read a book while your car drives itself.
I expect to see that. I really do.
I'll
get one if I don't have to have a license at some point, because I don't want to stay home. And so.
Yeah, absolutely. But you still drive now. So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I would love to have a car just drive me around.
Well, I'm looking ahead to, if you have a health issue in the future, you could still go because you'd have your own car to take you.
Yeah, I don't know if we have Uber cars here.
I don't know.
I know they have them in Los Angeles, and so that's where a lot of seniors are getting around where they couldn't before because they just call an Uber. But I think San Diego's a little bit behind LA, so I don't know if we have as many.
I don't think we have them in San Marcos, because here they hire other vehicles to come and pick people up, but not that, I don't think.
Yeah, not Uber is just a regular person.
Yeah, it's somebody that's just,
making money driving people around.
Good idea. It's called capitalism.
Exactly. That's why we live here.
Yeah.
So we're going to wrap up. We're coming to the end of the interview, and there's always 2 questions that I ask retirees. And one of them is, what do you wish you would have known before you and your husband retired?
I think that's a difficult question because you can't know something until the time is there. The one thing that is probably too sober at this point was watching my husband die while I took care of him in hospice. Because when you love someone like I did, and you have such a fantastic life, to watch his life slip away was really hard, and you can't prepare for a lot of things that come into your life, so you don't know till you face things. That's something I wish I had known but it wouldn't have done any good.
It wouldn't have changed anything.
It wouldn't have changed anything, and I wouldn't change a second of it either because that's the way my life was.
The second question that we have, you might be able to help with, and that is, we have a lot of listeners who are either new retirees, contemplating retiring, or they are retired but they're stuck in their lives somehow. If you were sitting across the table from one of those retirees, what's the one piece of advice that you would give them to help them have a better life?
Move. You don't sit still. You move. Go look for things to do. There are so many things, even locally in the area, so many beautiful gardens to see, so many beautiful places to hike. We hiked the beach every week, and it was gorgeous. We would go out on the pier once a week over at Oceanside, and we had what Paul would call our peer group because they were the fishermen that we had gotten.
Peer group, P-I-E-R.
Yeah, the peer group because they were the fishermen, and we watched them catch fish. And we've gone out to see whale watching. There are many things to do locally in the area, and they're not all that expensive. We walk the beach, it's free. We walk the pier, and it's free. And then we would take the little train from San Marcos over to the beach, walk down, walk out on the pier. We didn't even drive. And so there are so many ways. If you don't have a car, you can even do something like that. And so you got to move and you got to look for opportunities because they're out there. And then we've got trips here. If you're at the senior center here, we've got trips. You can go day trips. You can go 2 or 3 day trips, get a friend and go and travel. And I'm contemplating some of that too. And so just don't sit, move, walk, exercise, care about yourself, eat properly so you can enjoy life. Life is good.
That is fantastic advice. Thank you so much, Madelyn, for coming on the show today. You have given our baby boomers such fantastic, wonderful information that I'm sure will change their lives.
I hope so.
Well, thanks again for being on the show, and we will see you next time on Rock Your Retirement.
Thanks for listening to the Rock Your Retirement Show. If you are rocking your retirement or know someone who would make a great guest on our show, please send us an email at podcast@rockyourretirement.com.
Are you overwhelmed at the prospect of downsizing? Suffering from relocation stress syndrome? Senior Move Managers are experienced at taking the stress out of a transition to a smaller home. Senior Move Masters has been serving the San Diego County area for 12 years, helping their clients resolve the issue of too much stuff. They'll pack, unpack, arrange, and decorate your new home. Visit our website at seniormovemasters.com to request a free consultation.